resume again, as in
Okay.
we're back at episode 3B.
Okay, we're back at episode 3B. I don't know.
You're not
What's
wrong.
up, guys? We're back at episode 3B. Actually, also let us know if you prefer AI questions like these or stuff that we would create on our own. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Or even
put your own
questions
questions
in the comments.
We'll answer them in the comments as well.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to our next question. In the coming decade, how will AI replace your girlfriend?
Coming decade.
Will replace.
Hmm.
I've seen the thingy where there's this I think she's either a streamer or some internet personality that has built a model of her based on she must be a streamer based on her streams and stuff,
Yeah.
and then she charges people either through OnlyFans or Patreon or something. It's $1 per minute of you interacting with this model of her, and people are, I don't know what they're doing, but people are doing whatever they want. So, but they're either a virtual girlfriend, a virtual friend. She made something crazy, hundreds of thousands in the first month, and now you're having a bunch of other people also do the same thing of trying to build models of themselves, and it kind of makes sense, especially from content creator perspective. If you have you could build this model up, and then it would be able to do certain things on adverts, sponsorships and stuff that you wouldn't need to deal with yourself. So I think it's a natural progression that will happen. In terms of your specific question, how to replace your girlfriend, I mean, I'm seeing the use case for the people that are using the model as an AI version of it. And I mean, it's also now we have AI, but before that, I'm pretty sure in Japan we heard of people marrying Hatsune Miku and a bunch of other VTuber-esque people, parasocial relationships. So I'm sure it's not a stretch, to be honest. Personally, I don't see it replacing any aspect.
Yeah.
You're pretty well balanced as an individual.
I don't
I
think
feel like it could go there. Way down the line.
For you.
No, I mean, no,
so
not me.
So you're replacing your girlfriend with AI?
I'm saying technology. Technology.
No,
In terms of not being
feel-
looking at a screen interaction, like a physical robotic.
I feel the general population or whoever
You got,
has got money.
Maybe RoboDog one day will be.
Robodog.
Will
Robodog.
evolve into.
What about RoboCop?
I think
No, I'm saying technology down the
no,
line.
I get what
You
you're
don't think
saying.
RoboCop would be racist? He's a cop.
Depends on who programs
Depends on where
him.
you are as well, because
Yeah.
our cops versus US cops. I don't know.
No, we're not going to get robots here in South Africa, man.
Moving on. I think based on what you said now, it's gonna reach a point where you can't have a physical thing. It's gonna blur the line on so much of stuff like sex work and prostitution and things like that, because you're not dealing with a person anymore.
Yeah, rights and stuff.
So it's I'm just thinking about that scene in Edge Runners where that dude's siding on the
just
side
out in
of-
public.
and that thing is
beat
on
off.
him. Yeah. So I'm that's where it's gonna go. And
To be fair, that part had nothing to do with AI. That was just a comment on society and how normalized.
No,
it's
I think
become.
it's more to do with him and talk a physical robotic thing that's
Yeah,
just
it
gonna
could be
get you.
a VR AI.
Yeah, we also
I
don't
feel
know what
they
he's
already
interacting
have
with.
that right now. I've watched enough Long Beach Griffey videos and his ads. He said some things like some auto blow 3000s. And there's some things that exist already. But in terms of when I think of AI, I'm thinking more on not the physical front, because I'm sure people have made stuff already. I'm more on the emotional or the human front, where they fulfill not just the sex part.
I meant that same emotional part, but in a physical form.
Yeah, that's fair.
You mean the complete
Yeah.
non-human?
So that's what you meant. Evolution of RoboDog becomes.
I think it's gonna reach a scary level of people that have slavery kinks and servitude and all of that stuff.
Or would that be a healthy way to deal with those things?
Maybe.
Maybe
Again, it's what
my
if
sex
we
robot
get
chokes me to death.
I thought more like they were choking the sex robots.
Some people have that kink, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
What if we get to Blade Runner level where we don't know how to define
That is what I was
human
thinking
and
of.
not human? So it's then where do we draw the line rights and not rights and things like that?
Yeah, I mean that's in every sci-fi. I don't
Oh,
think any movie has ever solved
this is
that
the SAO
right
thing
because
all
of the
over
whole.
again.
No, it's not. No, but it's the whole iRobot and
Yeah.
whenever the sentence human
It
rights
blurs the
are a
line, yeah.
thing, and like even the concept, like again from iRobot, of murder is
Yeah.
only you killing another person. Nothing
Mm.
else can. You can't murder anything else. Only
Mm.
a person. So then, when a robot gains sentience and then you choke it out because of your weird sex fantasy, what's that?
I don't know. I think we're a bit far away from actually drawing the
You
laws
think
of
so?
that.
I don't think so.
I think
we're
I've
not
just
that
stayed
far.
away from that portion of the internet.
It will find you. It'll find you.
Lindo, how will AI replace your girlfriend in the future?
It's not. Next question. Okay.
Same
Okay,
thing.
wait, actually, let's be realistic, right?
Yeah.
If you get to the point where we're saying AI will get indistinguishable from humans, right? At least
Mm.
on the software front, and then you get the other part that someone's building the physical portion of it, where now you have basically synths that are walking around.
Yeah.
At that point, when you say replace, it's not even replacing; it just is.
Yeah,
Like,
which is
right?
different.
So-
That's different. It's like
Mm.
that. So like I'm gonna get all these AI tools to facilitate
Also
the
blow
fact.
3,000.
Yeah, to facilitate the fact that I to
Okay.
replace my girlfriend.
Okay,
But like,
fair.
if there's like AI that has a body and I like that AI's personality, then we go date. It's like that's it. Like it's like you
Look at
cool.
that. Out of context.
No, I get it. Like just to close, I think it's
Yeah.
like basically where I go with is like if it gets to a programmable version where it's like you can sort of create your perfect person.
Yeah.
That's like
That's a bit different.
that's
But
scary.
is that like AI at that point?
I mean, I guess so. You kind of there's nothing really organic
See,
or natural about it.
That's what I don't want. I don't want to do that. It must,
Yes.
must just be. They just existed.
Okay.
They just
Like-
are.
Just want
It's
NPCs
just,
that are
Yeah,
there.
like it's just like I don't want to build my own fucking
Yeah, I
girlfriend.
feel like it is too very.
Yeah, like that's
So
that's a
moving
bit
on,
weird.
moving on. Like I said, it's like none of us want to sort of build the perfect person. There's beauty in imperfection, and AI cannot.
Yeah, only you would say something corny like that. This guy, yeah.
Can AI replace your girlfriend? It can't.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I think it's not ever going to be able to. So
I think it can, and it will.
moving on. The perils of adulting. What have you learned in the last couple of months?
Peril.
In the last couple of months,
Last couple of
Perils
months.
of adult.
let me marinate on that shot.
This is deep.
It's not really like something I've thought of. It's something that's been apparent now.
Yeah.
The sense of time and the lack of it.
Yeah.
It's just there's a lot to do, not enough time to do anything.
Are you guys still
Do
thinking?
you? Okay, let me meta question on this question.
Sure.
Do you think you're an adult?
I
when
would
you
say.
think of what an adult is,
I say
do you
no.
think of yourself?
So that's actually a very interesting thing because I think as a child you have a different view
Yeah.
of what an adult is.
And then I think it's that point of there's like two things. I think there's what's that concept of like I think it's called like persistence, objective persistence or something. It's
Yeah.
when you as a child realize that every other person has their own life when
Yeah.
you're not seeing them. That's like one. And when you realize that your parents are also just regular people that are just older than you and are just people. And it's like
I think for me personally it happened because I had this view because I have older siblings, older
right.
sisters. It's like I kind of viewed them as adulting, which was like they left home, they had their own jobs, they take care of themselves. So that was like my broad view of what an adult was before. Then now when I got to that space,
Yes.
I was like,
This is not what I thought it was like.
no, it's like I knew there was different aspects. It's because like he mentioned before, you kind of realize everyone's just kind of doing their best, and it's like at that point I realized, okay, you know what actually does it mean to be an adult? So I think more so now than before, specifically this year because of how much I've actually taken on and stuff that I've changed. It's like that aspect has become very apparent to me. It's like, okay, now I kind of feel like I am actually adulting, not really properly, but
So
the
what
best
would
that I
probably,
possibly
what
can.
would properly look for you?
I think I still have that view of like having most of your stuff not really under control, but you have things that are
Figured out.
Yeah, but I think figured out, and it's also like that's the thing. I think it's just different variations of what an adult is. Like at different ages, you're gonna have different things figured out, and then at that age, you're still gonna have things that you don't know what's going on.
fair. I think I think it's kind of changed because I think when you're a child, you picture adults as like an age thing,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that someone's at a different. But now I realize it's more a life stage thing.
Yeah,
And the age
it's
part's
life
actually
stages.
kind of irrelevant because, like, if you were in high school and you were say you in high school, and then your classmate who, sorry, let's move to university so it's legal. You're in university.
Okay, now I'm confused at what you're gonna ask.
No, it'll make sense. You're in university, and all you're thinking about is studying. You just got there. Year one, first year, you're studying, and you're studying, trying to have fun, trying to do as much as you can in university. What your perception of what university life is, and then in the same breath of that, there's someone else in your first year that is married and is having a kid. Like not got married because of whatever circumstances, voluntarily. They found someone, they think they got married, had a kid. Like, they are in your age group, but their life stage feels completely alien.
Yeah.
To be fair though, the way they think about stuff is probably still similar to what you think, but they just have a child. Which, to me, I can't even imagine what that would be like. And, like, in my head, it's like, because I haven't like purchased property, which feels like a big thing. Like you're setting down roots in like a super long-term relationship that may lead to marriage or like whatever people do if they don't get married, like civil unions or whatever. And you have a child. Like those three things feel like adult to me.
Yeah, I gotta agree there. It's like it feels like, and it's like when I'm surrounded by people who have all these things, I'm just like, okay, so all these guys adult more than I do.
I mean, I don't think so. Just
No, I think
in my head could just also be like a certain level of maturity.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
thinking.
Like you're touching on maturity now. You're not so much.
Doesn't
into-
necessarily
So,
mean being
what I have
married,
done-
owning a house.
No, I know, but I mean in terms of like tangible things, because it's hard to judge maturity of anyone, right? It's like it's very hard. Like I have friends that are in like their mid-30s, which are like exactly like I am. They just have more money, and so it's like, what if no one's actually an adult?
I think it's like, my personal opinion on this is like once you reach a certain age, which I think is like 25, 26, everyone kind of reaches a level of maturity. Then afterwards, it kind of depends on how much of work you do for yourself. Like you learn your emotional intelligence, social intelligence,
Sure,
and like you learn how to be more self-aware and things like that. What's scary is when you meet people who are completely void of those things.
Yeah.
And it's like, when you interact with them, you're like, you're completely unaware of how you affect the world and what affects you. And like, that's where I think that aspect of maturity comes in. Also, we kind of went away from the question.
I was about to ask, I don't know what we were talking about.
What is
The perils of
the perils of
Oh, what
adulthood
have I
that you
learned?
experienced in the past couple
sorry,
of
so
months.
you said the time thing, which I fully acknowledge. Like, they said, I mean, we spoke about this, like as a child, because you have all these checkpoints and milestones, it's easy to, but when you are out of the education system and you're in a job thing, you don't really have those milestones to look at. And like, as you said, who said it? No one, Blink 182,
What?
183.
182.
Blink 182.
Yeah, 182. Like, no one cares after you're 23.
No one cares when you're 14.
So like they aren't wrong. Like it's all just one.
Yeah, I think also.
Honestly, I measure shit in tax years now.
like,
Those are my milestones, my tax years.
and I guess everything's just on you at a certain point.
Which is also kind of scary because there's the concept of like your version of, so like there's a level of being complacent or stagnating. At least that's how I feel about it. Where it's like I could be doing more, but it's also perfectly fine if I just didn't do anything more because everyone else will say you're doing fine.
Yeah.
And that's a scary thing to be in, which it's easy to fall into that. But
That's actually the exact position I'm in. Where it's
I
like,
feel most people are actually, I can't speak for that. I think most people that I know at least that have reached a certain level of, because then you have to think about it from the perspective of the other people that have come before. Like your parents may have viewed the world very differently versus your cousins and stuff that have a very different world view. And so on the outside, it's like you're doing great, which again, yes, fair, I understand, but there's again, I feel I'm strained from this question.
No, I think I get what you're saying.
yeah,
It's
I'm
like
stop.
no, but like just based on what you said, like where we've sort of grew up from, where we came from, comparatively.
Better.
Oh yeah, we're
So it's like
we're zooming.
So it's also, but it's like, I think it's something that everyone kind of struggles with at some point. With like, should I do more? Should I not do more?
Yeah.
And I think it's something that it's person to person. It's very subjective, and a lot of the time you kind of just sort of like calm your own storm and be like, okay, you know, this is enough.
Yeah. Like, well, I think in the last few months, I think that is the current existential crisis that I'm on. The battle between complacency and
content,
not.
being content, basically.
yeah.
But yeah, I think like to summarize everything, I think time is something that's been very apparent to everyone, and personally
Especially
as
this
well.
year.
Especially this year. I think when you have a lot of things that you're trying to juggle and trying to make the best of it, the best way I think I've managed to tackle it is like you kind of find the things that you want to actually put your time into, and then try and not really throw the other things into the trash, but realize that you actually don't have time for that. So basically,
Prioritize.
run your life through a filter, figure out what stays, and then keep going from there. But anyway.
It was only New Year's yesterday.
Are you sir? Are you okay?
To be fair, it still feels really strange because
Yeah.
I remember I was away from Cape Town for a while and
Yeah.
then came back in the middle of January, and it's like my birthday was like the other day, guys. Remember? When we
Don't
all
just hit like the fast forward button.
and like
Just
it's
Yeah.
June. It's May.
Yeah, it's really did fast forward. Like,
But hey, moving on. We've been on this for a while. What's last? Genre fusion. Some of your favorite blends of melodies or ones you would like to hear,
I mean,
Oh,
currently
that I would
the-
like to hear.
or ones that you currently like.
Oh, I mean, well, it's the obvious.
I mean, we
answer.
spoke about this earlier today.
Yeah.
melodies.
I mean,
Mm.
the rap rock has been hitting
It's been
the
hitting.
scene.
I'm kidding.
I don't think it's been hitting the scene. I think it's been
It's
there.
been
and
there,
then it
but
went
it's
away
been,
for a
and
while.
it came back.
I mean, Linkin Park were there day one.
When it's done well, it's
Yeah, in terms of genre stuff that I would like, because I mean, obviously, like if I think about my primary genres of music, rock, hip hop,
Mm.
a lot of pop now, to be honest, as well. And it makes sense. It went from Linkin Park to learning more hip hop in university, finding like MGK while he was still rapping. Then he started doing rock music. I'm like, okay, this just makes sense. I think those like genres of things being together are not that alien right now. The ones that feel like I really, again, this is what I would like. It's not really genre mixing, but it's like we have like metal, we have hip hop, we have your pop music and stuff that they're all in English. I'm obviously exposed to like J rock and K-pop
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But what about like in Algeria? What music are they making? I'm not talking about like I'm not talking about like the damn native traditional lead pipes and whatever the shit people do there. But I mean like
Their
I'm sure
pop
there's like
music
rock.
and
Yeah,
their-
I'm sure they have rap and rock, but in Algeria.
I mean, we
Like-
have reacted
I
to,
mean, we have to-
Bloody
we have
Wood.
to-
Exactly.
Bollywood.
what language do you
yeah.
speak?
I don't know.
I think it's predominantly a Muslim country, so it might be Arabic and something else.
Right. So that's Bloodywood's a good example of like, if you were to tell me that there was this band in India doing like rock and metal music, I'm like, I'll have a perception of what it was.
Yeah.
Then we actually watch like this shit is actually pretty good.
I think some mixes, especially when you put traditional instruments in rock, it
Yeah,
can
it does.
sound really
I
good.
like rock songs mixed with like classical instruments.
Mm.
That's fair. I've heard a lot of in terms of like hip hop as well. I've heard like French rap. I've heard German rap.
Yeah.
It's
German rap was pretty
Arabic rap. What's that guy? I can't remember. I think it's Arabic or it's French. I don't know. But like those are a bit more prevalent now. I think you're seeing it. But I'm talking about like what about? I was gonna say Italian rock music, but like Maneskin is kind of
Yeah.
or Main Skin. I don't know.
Yeah, but
Skin.
they do
They
sing
do covers in English, but yeah. So I'm kind of like, I'm just kind of wondering. Like, I'm sure there are bands and like artists and stuff that are super underground in their country that are doing things, but have not reached like other things. I'd like to hear that.
Okay. I think it's like, for me, I like it when they take something that's one genre, then they try to shift it to a different one. But like, just for something that I think everyone would relate to, I remember Philippia did a reaction to covers of their,
Oh, their
Song.
songs, yeah.
and then one chick did like the chords from, I think it was Playing God,
Yeah.
and she turned into like an anime opening theme on piano. So it's like things like that is just really cool because they take these chords and they just completely rearrange it.
Yeah,
and
like transpose them. Yeah.
and you get like a completely different feel from the song because that song is what it is, and then you put into like this soft sort of like anime opening
it's like
music.
reimagined.
Yeah, it's
versions of
reimagined
songs.
version. So I like things like that.
That's,
And,
did you like? I don't know if you've listened to them, but like Falling Reverse reimagined two
Yeah.
of their songs, like one the ballad and one in like an opera esque. I don't know
Yeah.
what he was doing there, but I agree with you. I think that's fair.
And then like, what did you play for me before I could go to Durban? I was like, there was an acoustic version of Alone in the Room.
Asking Alexander.
Yeah. And it's like the original version of that song compared to the acoustic version is completely different. So it's like
yeah, when the acoustic versions generally tend to focus more on the
emotional.
emotional side.
Actually, speaking of that, that's actually more of the music I want to hear of. Like this acoustic versions of songs, introspective songs. Like there's not a lot of like beat of the beat. It's like mostly like piano types, very slow. Things are just like you just hear every word and stuff like that, and you hear like I like to hear more of those songs. I don't find them as often, so like when I get them, it's like a gem for me. So like that's definitely more of that for me.
No, it's like specifically for that song. It's like you hear it the first time, you're like, oh, he's sad. You hear the acoustic, but like, oh,
Sad.
he really sad.
Yeah, but that's why I like the acoustic versions because like it just fleshes out the song even
Yeah.
more. It's like oh, this was
It puts more emphasis on the lyrics.
mm,
And,
which I guess
it's
is
really
my
cool thing.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
but so the question just said genre, what,
mixes,
right?
Would
We
you like
immediately
to,
went to music, which is there's
no, it's
not.
musical genre.
Oh, did you say musical
No.
genres? Oh, I was
What
thinking.
were you thinking?
I was thinking from cinematography and
Like what? Were,
like.
like what genres?
It was about melody, so I'm assuming.
Oh,
music.
sorry. Okay, I didn't catch that. But okay, but well, here we are. I was thinking. I think like certain genres that don't like. There's obviously ones that you know very well, like rom-com. It's literally romance com. It has its own subgenre. Like action movies have now like action thrillers have become a thing, and like action comedies. But you don't really get too many like. You don't get many horror comedies or like horror with comedy elements, and like when it's done well, a good example of those is like what's his name, the dude that did Nope and
Jordan Peele.
He
Is that a
it's,
horror comedy?
it's
Or
not a
horror
horror
with
comedy. It's
comedic
yeah, with comedic time away, because a lot of the time when you watch his movies, there's some like grander thing going on, but in the movie itself, there are spaces to make things like comedic.
Yeah.
He's a good example, and I think Cabin in the Woods is a really good example of that as well, where the movie is set up as this thing, but as it keeps going. So I like seeing in terms of films stuff that you are not used to, and the ones you aren't expected. A lot of it comes down to like
Should make a musical horror movie.
a musical horror.
I mean,
Wasn't
Beetlejuice is a
Sweeney-
thing.
Wasn't Sweeney Todd the demon barber of Fleet Street a horror?
Wasn't really.
Not horror, but
I think
like,
it also depends what you consider horror, because horror itself has so many subgenres.
I think most of it's shit.
Most
That is true.
horror stuff is just jump scares.
I'm so sick and tired
I
of
think
jump scares
it
at this
depends
point.
as well. It's like I think nowadays everything just kind of wants to give you that shock. Like
Yeah.
I'm a massive fan of horror, so like it's like these things, they get very old very quickly.
Yeah, but jump scares are fine, but it's when they don't have the build up to the jump.
No,
They
I
like
think
the,
it's also dependent on
the
like
tension. Is
they just want to build attention and then just cut it quickly, and which is actually interesting because there's certain movies. I think there's some Asian movies where
I was gonna say
Yeah.
foreign movies do it.
they
doing
do
pretty
this thing where they
well.
just create atmosphere.
Mm.
And there was a movie that I think it was either Thai or or Philippines or something like that, where they made this movie and they had to ban it from cinemas because people had a heart attack, like an actual
a recent movie.
heart. No, it was probably in the 70s or something. And it was like because they were watching it and the atmosphere was so intense and there was no cut from the intense. It just
constant build-up,
it was
yeah.
constant build up, and these people get so tense that they end up just sort of unable to deal with the thing. And it's like those types of movies, like where you draw the line of what's acceptable and what's not. And it's like what I would like to see, like horror, is like domestic horror is something that I'm
What
really
the hell is
interested in.
domestic horror?
So
'Cause
domestic
I'm picturing something I know is wrong.
so domestic horror is like you take the familiar and you make it scary. So it's like
Oh.
you're very
Okay.
comfortable in your family setting. So like to give you an example, like
So
say
Get Out would have been.
it's an example of domestic
Yeah.
horror because you go to this place and you kind of expect it to be
Yeah.
a certain
Okay.
way, but it's not. So like a good example would be like say his kid's growing up and then he notices certain things are just not right with his family, and then the big drop is like his parents are serial killers,
Okay.
but he doesn't know how, and then you're like, how does he navigate these things and things like that. So movies like that where you sort of create this sort of fear of the familiar,
Yeah.
it sort of does this weird sort of
I think it helps with
Genre
everyone can
effect.
relate to it as
Yeah,
well.
it's more
because the
relatable.
big, gigantic, like sci-fi horror, like there's a common
Cosmic
genre of like
horror.
no, not cosmic horror. The ones that are like people trapped on like a space station with a
Yeah.
thing. Like you've seen Alien, there was Life. There's
That,
quite a few of those things. They do well.
That there's that specific episode of Love, Death and Robots with
But,
that hive mind. The guy was trapped in a spaceship. He was in the dreams.
Oh,
sort of, but that's
yeah.
more cosmic horror. I
Yeah.
would say this is more like something is hunting
Oh.
the people, like the Thing and stuff. It's all the
Mm.
same type of genre. The I entirely lost my train of thought. I don't know what's going on.
No, I get what you're saying, but see, that's very similar to like your beast, your monster horror.
No, I was gonna use that to
Yeah.
pivot onto an actual point, which is
Okay,
Yeah.
but like a recent movie was the last good horror movie you watched. Like a
The
fairly
last good horror movie I watched that was recent. See,
okay, not one that was
No.
made like way in the past. If you watched it when it recently came out.
so that's tough because I really enjoyed the first Conjuring movie, but that was years ago. That was like 2013 or something.
yeah.
But I mean, at the time, it was,
Yeah, I liked it at the time because, see, it's my personal taste. It's like I sort of go more towards like the whole mystical demonology aspect because it's like an interest of mine as well. So it's like, okay, you're learning about these things and you're using it to make horror. But then also it's like it did also put that domestic horror thing in you because the mother ended up being possessed. It's like a person that you're supposed to be able to, you know, find safety in is now something that you can be afraid to go near. So it's like that combination of things, and it's like also the whole element of it being made sort of based on a true story.
Oh, that's a trope.
Based on the
Yeah.
first
Did you all find the first Paranormal Activities?
I did.
Oh.
I'm not gonna, the first time I watched it because I didn't know what to
Yeah,
expect.
Yeah.
And I've
yeah.
never, and the thing is, that movie is kind of groundbreaking in its own way for the way it was shot.
Yeah.
And like, and also because I didn't understand now I've peeked enough behind the curtain of how things are
Yeah.
made to know, but like, the first shot of like was she like picked up by a hair
Yeah.
and then like I was like, holy shit, that's like, and also that entire movie, as you said, was just building up tension for the
Yeah.
eventual reveal of
Mm.
something happening, and like the payoff happened in the last 5 minutes of the movie. So you spent like an hour and 20 minutes just building up this eventual reveal. I enjoyed the
I
first
think
one, but then there's what,
It-
there's
it-
6 or
it
7,
went
and
down.
they all,
It went
because you
down.
know they no longer you expect it
Yeah.
as well.
I have a story about the first one. So like that. How old were we when it came out? Like
I don't know.
we were very
I
young.
think we're in the beginning of high school.
Yeah, so I was very young at that time, and it was like at that point I was still fairly not as okay I am now with horror movies because now I don't actually get afraid by them. Like unless it's a jump scare, then that's just pure shock factor. But at that point, that Paranormal Activity 1 starts off with based on real
Yeah.
events.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Like,
oh,
you're like
I'm
as a
never
child,
staying up to 3
like,
o'clock.
like as a
ever.
child, you're like, oh, this is a real story. And the thing is, like, I didn't know enough about it at the time, so because it's a found footage movie, I thought it was.
yeah.
I thought, oh, this is the real footage too. So obviously, I was freaked out at the end of the movie, and at that point, like you can't sleep, you're thinking about stuff, and so one morning I remember waking up at like around about 3 o'clock, and then it was like I could hear this like roaring, right? And I was like, oh God, it's the devil.
Yeah, that's literally what happened.
He's coming for me.
My friend and I did, like we couldn't sleep. When it hit 3 o'clock, we hid under blankets. Like we can't look outside the window. What if he's there?
Yeah.
Who is he?
The devil.
So I was like terrified. I couldn't fall asleep again because I could hear this roaring coming from it was coming from the wall. So I didn't know what.
Inside
Wait,
the walls.
why?
I'm getting there.
Oh, okay.
Hold on. So
Was just
like
a
I couldn't
pipe.
sleep, and then I got up in the morning. I was like, I told my parents what happened. No, like I was that terrified. I was like, Mom, I heard this thing in the
I'll
night.
level with you.
Like I heard this thing, and then like obviously they thought it was nothing. So I was actually kind of traumatized by it because I remember sitting there watching TV because like my eyes and stuff were sunken in because I didn't sleep. I'm thinking like, oh my God, what it is? And then my mom comes in and she's like, so that sound you heard in the morning? It's like, yeah, it was your neighbor drying her hair.
Just the hair dryer.
It was the hair dryer.
Oh, the roar.
The roaring was the hair dryer. And
Wow.
I was like, why was she drying her hair at 3 in the morning? She's like, no,
That was pretty odd.
they were going out to a funeral, so they had to leave early.
How?
You know how Chatswood funerals are? They go there to make food and stuff. So
That's wild. Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So yeah.
Ah,
Anyway, that's my experience of Paranormal Activity 1. So
I think for a week straight, I couldn't sleep.
what, after that movie?
Yeah, so
Oh.
I could only sleep while listening to music. I don't
Oh,
know.
you're
why.
listening to
I had
Linkin Park?
I know I had the All American Rejects. It ends tonight.
oh okay. Okay.
Yo, yes, y'all were okay.
I don't remember much of like after watching Paranormal Activity. I only remember 2 instances where I watched something, freaked me the fuck out. We swear here, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's my Come on, why'd I do
It's
that?
our channel.
Sorry, I forgot. That was weird. where I couldn't, but and this makes sense where like age ratings were there for a reason.
Yeah.
They're three instances. All of these happened when I was a child, super young. And I remember coming downstairs and Pet Cemetery was being shown.
Oh yeah, right.
Pet Cemetery
Yeah.
was being shown.
Mm.
And I don't know what the movie was. I just walked into the lounge. Mom was watching. It's like, oh, what are you watching? And Mom was like, oh, Pet Cemetery. I'm like, oh, what's that? Like, oh, just watch.
I haven't watched that movie.
I haven't watched it again.
I haven't watched it. I haven't watched it again.
I walked into the lounge and I just started to look at the TV and like you can't make the timing up. It's the part where they're literally in the cemetery and the dog reanimates itself and then starts running. And I just see the dog reanimating itself like and I left. Right? I just left. There was a time when she was watching again. I feel this all related to my mother now. Just let me watch whatever. Again, came into the launch. She was watching Outer Limits, which is like an X-Files-esque type thing. And I really enjoy sci-fi stuff now. But to this day, I don't even remember the episode. I've tried to find the episode to see what it was about. All I remember, again, this is like I walked in, saw like 3 seconds, ran away. Like it was like these weird aliens that had gigantic one eyeball and just like flagella like arm things. I just remember turning, seeing the giant eyeball. Nope. Ran away. And I think I tried to watch The Devil's Advocate with Keanu Reeves at the time, and there was a weird scene where I think like you could see like the face of like a demon moving through someone's skin. That freaked me like the fuck out. But those were like after that though I don't really remember many horror movies where I've had like I think most of them have like really trash storylines where I just,
they do.
and especially like I find them hard to still be compelling once the reveal has happened.
Yeah.
Like especially with a monster, once you see it in daylight, so I'm like, once you see it, it's like, oh okay, it's just a wee
No,
guy.
I get you. It's. I think that's also why I enjoy stuff like HP Lovecraft, Junji Ito stuff as well. It's because
the
there's no
cosmic-
reveal.
There's no reveal, yeah.
Like, and some of Junji Ito stuff is so weird that
it's just
even
too
if you
strange.
find out what's going
doesn't
on, you're like,
matter.
it doesn't matter. It's still weird. Like hanging balloons is just weird.
Yeah, all of them are
So
strange.
it's like that kind of stuff.
Any
And
horror
any stuff
movies?
from your side, yeah.
Hey man, Final Destination, guys.
Which one?
The first one?
Honestly,
All I know is that I hate trucks. I hate any kind of truck.
when I was small,
I hate
they
any
made me
kind of
scared
truck.
of trains and planes.
To be fair, I think every person they said has scarred like a generation of people with trucks that carry lumber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even drive, bro.
Yeah.
I'm like in a car
Yeah,
and I see it
it
like
will come off
I once
and
actually
skew you.
saw a truck with some lumber, and I was like, oh, am I dying today? I actually, every time I see a truck, I just want to drive. I go over the speed limit. I go past that truck. In fact,
that says a lot, to be fair.
2 trucks have tried killing me the last 2 months.
They've
They've
tried
tried
killing
killing
you.
you.
Actively
No,
trying to
the one
murder
guy
you.
literally just as I'm going, he indicates and he just goes. I'm like, dude, I'm already in the lane, bro.
Could he see you?
He definitely could see me. He wanted to kill me.
Okay.
I literally had to
Targeted.
brake. I had to brake and then let him go, and then I had to kind of divert go in the other lane. I'm like, what the hell? Yeah. So.
Final Destination is a good point because I feel like it's not like a fear that you acknowledge all the
So it
time.
makes you
But then
wonder.
now that the thing is like I don't ever see a truck with wood and think of us a truck with wood. I'm like,
Or
What are you
something
doing? Like-
slips there, and then the knife there. It's like statistically low, but not impossible.
I'll say those ones I don't really worry too much about.
Yeah.
Like those was one. I think those hinged on like the super improbability.
Improbable.
Yeah, improbable level of stuff happening to you. But the wood just feels like a viable thing. I feel like it doesn't look secure. Also, the plane exploding in thing. And I know the stats are like yes, the planes are much safer than a car, and it's like, but I just feel like it feels like if anything goes wrong in a plane, you die. I feel like it just doesn't feel like there's much you can do to survive. To be fair, in a car accident, there's also not much you can do. I just feel like I'm on land. And
You won't fall out of the sky.
What's that meme? It's like
Yeah.
the chance of the chance of a cat killing you are low, but it's
But
not
not
zero.
But yeah, I think we can end it here unless anybody else has any closing things to say.
nope.
Nothing.
Okay.
Okay.
Like, share, and
Thanks for
subscribe.
watching.
Yeah,
Thanks for watching, and stay middle class.
Or don't.
Actually,
If you want to be rich, it's
yeah,
okay.
go forward.
That's our punchline.